guys, welcome back. Doing something a little bit different today. Did you all watch my series of placemat pours that I did, the timber placemats with the little matching coasters? Well, it's been a few weeks now till they've been completed, so today I'm going to show you how I resin them. Now, I am not by any means an expert at resining. I've only done 2. This is my 3rd, but you know, people are saying, how did you do it? So I'll show you what I did. Whether or not it's the right way, I don't know, but it's just what I did. Now, the first one I used was this stuff here that I got from eBay. Yeah, I wasn't happy with it. I did a little tile ages ago just to practice on, and it was kind of cloudy and it was sort of pitted and pulled away from the edges. And look, maybe I just did something wrong, I don't know, but since that I've bought this Barnes epoxy glass. Hasn't got a lot of instructions with it. Just says mix, add A and B together and mix. It doesn't say how long for. It does say you've got, you mix it 1 to 1. It says you've got 50 minutes of work time. It's cured in 24 hours. But I would leave it like a few days before you put anything on top of it. I peeled the tape about 12 hours afterwards, and that seems to work well. It's still a little bit soft. Yeah, you probably saw my video of me peeling tape. That's how I did it. Right, so let's get going. It comes with these 2 bottles, equal parts. Now, I like to weigh, you know that, but I can't weigh for these. I have to measure by volume. So I'm just gonna, I'll put the back of that on there, like so. It's just a little canvas panel. Now I've got this little measuring cup. It's got 1 fluid ounce and 30 mils. I'm going to go by this 30 mils line. So I'm going to do 60 mils of one bottle, 60 mils of the other. It's 2 ounces of each. And then I'll mix them up. That's going to be 120 mils, which is 40 ounces. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 ounces. 4 ounces, 2 ounces of that one, 2 ounces of that one, give me 4 ounces. And that will be plenty to do a placemat and a matching coaster. So the ones I've picked for today is this red, black, white and silver one. Actually, I think it's grey, or is it silver? I don't know. So the red one and the little matching coaster. So that will be enough to do both of these, okay? Now, before I mix, I'm going to take you over to my other table behind and show you just how I set up my area for actually drying the piece. So this is the table behind the other table that I was just on. And this is where my pieces will sit to dry overnight. What is it now? It's only 8 o'clock in the morning now, so I'll pour it and then I'll cover them, and tomorrow morning I'll peel the tape. So they've got the tape on the back. The first thing we need to do is get a clean piece of paper towel just to dry something, just to get any dust off. There's no silicone in these, so we don't need to worry about any silicone, but just dry them. The other thing I've done, depending on what surface you're using, how hard it is, I wanted to put a puppy pedal pad down just in case I dripped any resin down. And then I thought I better put a tile down just so that I've got a nice hard surface. So I've got these little cups, 3 for the placemat and just 1 for the coaster. I've had to break up a little popsicle stick and just put them underneath. So what I did was I put that on, and then I got my little U-Butte leveler, put that on there and made sure that the bubble was in the center. If I needed to, I got a little piece of the paddle pop stick and I just put it underneath the tile there. There's one under there. There's two under there actually, on top of each other like that. And there's another one under there. So I'm happy with my levels. Actually, there's three there. Let's put them back. I'm happy with those levels. Just make sure that everything is level. Otherwise, you know, your resin's going to slide off. So just be really careful. So that's that one there. Just move it around. Make sure that it is where it needs to be. And the same with this one. Put that on there. Put that on there. Make sure that you are level. I did have to chock that one up a little bit there and there, just with one piece of paddle pop stick. So that's what I did. Make sure that they're good to go. All right, so that's it. And then I've got a food net, big food net, and I've just actually covered it with a couple of pillowcases just to keep the dust off, because even though it's a food net, it's still got little holes in there, you know, for dust and things to come through. I guess I could have put over maybe a lightweight towel or, you know, a sheet or something, but for now it's just a couple of pillowcases just to keep the dust from falling off the top. If the dust comes down here, that's okay, it falls down, that's all right. I've just covered the top there. Okay, so let's get to mixing our resin. All right, so where's my mils? There it is. So I'm going to have it facing me. That's my cup I'm going to pour everything into. And I've got my stick. Make sure your cup's nice and clean. Now this one here, it is more viscous or thicker than the other one. So now I need to just climb down here onto my knees, so that I can actually read straight on where the little line is. So bear with me. I need to get those, you know, the silicone measuring cups. I don't have any. I will order some, but I thought, oh, there's no point me waiting for them. Now just pour slowly, because it's so thick that by the time it levels off, you might have gone past your line. And a tiny little bit more. And apparently it's very important to get just the right amount, not any more, not any less. It's just under the line. A little blob more. Oh, the other thing is, if you do get resin on you, just get a piece of paper towel. I always have a couple of pieces of paper towel ready. I don't want to put it onto my cloth. I just wipe it off like that. And also, once I've put the resin on my placemat and I go to pick up my torch, I've always got resin all over my hands. I mean, I have got my gloves here, so I'll be doing that shortly. But it's just easy to use the paper towel to get the resin off your hands or your gloves before you pick up your blowtorch, okay? All right, so that's the first little cup. So, I mean, I could use a measuring cup, I guess, but I've only got a measuring cup. It's a huge one, you know, that I use for my ring pours. I've got those big measuring cups. I think I'll put my gloves on now, actually. So I've only got those big measuring cups, or I've got a smaller one, but it's in my kitchen. And I thought, well, I don't want to ruin my measuring cup, the one that's in the kitchen. Just put that there. So yeah, I do need to get myself a silicone measuring cup, because apparently once it's dry, once the resin's dry, you can just like peel it out. So yay, I'm going to do that. But for today, because I don't want to wait for the postage, I'm just going to do this. So another 30 mils. It doesn't really smell, like it doesn't have a bad odor at all. I can't smell it at all. So I'm not wearing a respirator or anything like that. And obviously if you've got underlying circumstances and you need respirators to use anything that's, you know, quite strong, you know, use your respirator. But I don't have any issues. Looking at that side on. Yep, that's it. I might as well just stay down here on my knees. Might as well. Okay, scoop that one in. So that's 2 ounces or 60 mils of that thick one. See how thick it is? Scrape that. I'm sure, you know, it's not going to matter if I'm like 1 mil out or something. I'm sure it won't matter too much. Okay, so that's that. And put the lid on that one. Actually, I might just wipe around the outside with my paper towel. Wipe around the top of the lid, like so. Just so it's nothing going to stick there. I don't think they'll actually stick until they're combined with the other one, hey? Now this one, part B, it's much thinner. So it flows out much more easily. Look at that. This one's like corn syrup. It's easy to see when you get to your line because it's not all gloopy. So that's that one done. Pour him in. So we need equal amounts, so 2 little cups of this one. And again, still down here on my knees so I can see level with my line. Okay, so that one's done. Did you know when you're looking down, sometimes you get a different view on where your actual measuring line is? All right, let me get back up on my feet. There we go. Scrape that out. I just had it sitting on top of the box just to lift it up a little bit higher, just so it's at my eye level when I was on my knees, but you don't have to do that. Okay, so that's empty. Now I'm not really going to keep that. I'm just going to chuck that. It's done its job. And I'm going to wipe that resin off my gloves. And then I can easily just throw that paper towel away as well. So, okay, so that's done. Let's move this out of the way. Now, stirring. It doesn't say how long to stir on the box, but just from what I've read and heard other people, they say you have to stir for 5 minutes. All right, so let me look at my clock. All right, I'm not going to stand here and stir in front of you for the next 5 minutes. I'm going to put you on pause. I'm going to stir. I'm going around the sides. I'm scratching the bottom. Clean it off the stick. Same as I do when I'm mixing paint. Around the sides. Scrape the bottom. Make sure you do scrape the bottom and into your corners, you know, your little edges of your cup. It's really important. Don't worry too much if you get lots of bubbles and things now. That will settle, and we're going to torch later anyway. I don't think it's possible to stir without getting bubbles. So I don't see how you can do that. All right, so I'm going to pause you. I'm going to keep stirring for another 4 minutes, and I'll come back to you. 5 minutes is up. Oh, you get a sore arm. Now, obviously, if you're going to do a few coasters or placemats, you'll use a bigger cup. You'll mix more because, you know, it's a pain mixing for 5 minutes. So maybe you want to do a few coasters at a time. You have got 50 minutes before this sets up. So you should be able to get a few done. So more little cups. That's for my coaster. And that's for my placemat. Okay. let's get them. They're nice and clean. Sit on top there. So what I did when I did my others, as I said, I've done 2 now. Actually, move over a little bit. Move over a bit, hey? There we go. Trying to fit everything in. Okay. So when I did my other 2, I poured a little bit on my coaster first, covered that, and then I knew I had everything left in the cup for my big one. Now the other thing about this resin, it's heat proof, heat resistant to, it doesn't say on here, but when I spoke to the company, they said that it was heat resistant to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what it is centigrade, I'd have to look it up, but certainly hot enough for, you know, your cup of coffee or tea. But I wouldn't advise doing that for maybe a month. Let it cure. And again, this is just me assuming. Those of you who know all about resin will probably tell you. But I think, you know, a month before you start putting hot things on it, just in case, you know, you don't want to leave a ring or anything. So what I'm going to do is I'll pour the resin on each of them, and then I'm going to get the camera down. I'm going to put it down here next to me, and we're going to look across the top so you can actually see all the little bubbles that pop when I use my blowtorch. So that's the plan, and hopefully I can do that for you and show you. I don't know whether or not you'll be able to see it, but I'll give it a go, hey? So I just pour this on the same way I basically do an acrylic pour or varnishing. I just pour some in the middle. We don't want very much for the coaster. We want most of it for the big guy. So I'm just going to move that out of the way for a minute. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go around in a circle, but not over the edge just yet. Just want to make sure I've got enough to cover everything, but not going over the edge just yet. Because once it starts going over the edge, then you lose a lot. So I want to cover the surface first. And then we'll go over the edge. I don't know whether some people use like a spatula and you know, level it, like push it. I want it as thick as possible in there. Okay, so now we've covered. So now I'll start tilting and just using my finger to run the resin around the edge there. Run it off the top, over the side. I have got tape on the back of this. It doesn't matter if you put your fingers in it yet. It's self-leveling, so it will come good. I'm just going to put a little bit more on the bottom there. So just, you know, trial and error on how much you need. You can always add a little bit more. I'd rather not put too much on and have it wasted. I'm just using my finger to go around the edges there, make sure they're covered. So it's just like doing a pour, isn't it? Tilting, covering. And I can see where it's moving. It's got quite a lot up here still, so I'm just going to move it down a bit. It's exactly the same as acrylic pouring. You can see where the weight of the paint is and where it needs to go. So just take your time, don't rush it. You know, this is expensive stuff. You've put a lot of money and time and effort into making your coaster or your placemat, so yeah, take your time. If you don't want to watch me tilt, then that's fine. You can just fast forward your video, but I'm not going to rush this. I want it to be perfect. Okay, so that's just going to sit there. I think we're over everything. See, I've got my lights on so I can see all the shiny glossiness I don't think that matters that I've got a bit on there anyway, does it? I'm going to pour straight over it. Okay, here we go. This is the big one. Just going to pour all that in. I have done a really good job of mixing everything, so hopefully I'm okay to scrape my sides and get everything out, hopefully. Let's put that over there in the corner for a minute. So same thing, I'm going to pick this up and I'm just going to tilt. I'll do it that way so that you can see. Oops, I don't really want to go over the edge just yet. Something set my dogs off. And I guess depending on what your weather is, will also determine how fast your resin's moving. It's early in the morning here. It's quite cool. So, you know, the resin may take a little bit longer to move. I actually just help that push it towards the sides there, just because it's moving slowly this morning. I don't want it to go off the edge just yet. I don't want to waste all that. Off you go, resin. It is moving slower today than it did yesterday, that's for sure. Let's run my finger down the side there. On the edge, so that edge is done. I guess if it is moving so slowly, you might want to do your edges at the same time, just because it might be hard to come back. Oops, hope I'm not out of frame. Right, so this little edge down here still needs to be covered. So let's go down there. If I didn't have the video on, I would have torched that little guy already. But because I need to move my tripod down, I haven't torched him yet. Oops, I can see there's the weight of all that. See, it's all come down now. It's all moving down, lovely. It's getting there, it's just a bit slow. The weight of it's all up here at the moment. Just help it down. I guess I could have made more, but I know just from the ones that I did yesterday and the day before that that amount is enough to cover this. So I've got a lot up here now. I just need to get it back sort of to the middle. So let's do that. See if we can move it down a bit. Because I've just poured it all this way to do this side. Let's move it back to the middle. Have a look, make sure you haven't got any bits that have been missed. That's why it's good having a light shining on it, because you can see if there's any areas that you haven't missed. And again, I'm sorry if it's taking too long, but it's just how long it takes, hey? I want to get it perfect. Just trying to get the resin back into the middle. I can still see that's, oops, it's moving a bit there. The weight of it's there at the moment, so yeah, just trying to, you know, level it out as best as possible. And I've got the tape on the bottom, so it doesn't matter if my resiny fingers are on that. So I'm just going to have a little look all the way around in the light to make sure I've got all my edges covered, which I have. Let's put you back there for a sec. Now this is where you need to wipe your hands. I learnt that the hard way. I went straight for my torch and got resin all over it. So probably should do this off camera so I don't get any little bits of paper towel in there. So that's what I'm doing. Right, now I'm going to bring the tripod down onto the floor next to me and see if we can look across. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't get the angle exact, so I'm just going to have to try and hold it here for you. And we'll just, I honestly don't know if it's going to work or not, but you can see all the little dots. I'm going to turn on my torch one-handedly if I can. Oh, this is tricky, you guys, doing this for you. Okay, let's do the little one first. I don't know, can you see all the little dots being popped? I hope so. Seriously, I don't know if you got it or not, but anyway, I'm just going to go over it again. So to me that looks really good. I can't see any bubbles, but just go over it one more time. Sometimes you can see the little dots. All right, here we go. Let's try the big boy. Hopefully you can see all the bubbles bursting. Yeah, see over there you can see them. You can see them all bursting there. Going around and around, popping any bubbles that I can see. It sort of looks like a splash when you hit the torch hits the surface. It kind of looks as if it's gone splash and all these little bubbles pop. Takes a while. It was very bubbly. Just don't get too close, you know, take your time, but just don't get too close. I have to go over it a few times. There's my ring light, you don't want to see that. Alright, I'm just going to pause you for 1 sec while I finish this, because it's really hard for me to do one-handed. So I basically just keep going with my torch until I see that no more areas are like going splash. I don't know how you explain it, but when I don't see any kind of reaction on top, then I'd stop, which is now. So that's it. Let me turn my torch off. Maybe I'll turn off. See, that's my big ring light. That's annoying, isn't it? Turn that one off. And let's see what we can see, hey? Again, it's really hard to try and capture a gloss. I'm going to turn my other light off. I don't know, you guys. I've never done a video on resin before. Crawling around on my knees here. All right, whoops. That looks pretty darn perfect to me. Can't see any bubbles. I know it's really hard to pick it up. And there's the coaster. No bubbles. This one's much harder to do because it's big. The poor camera doesn't know what to focus on. But anyway, or maybe if I come back a little bit, what do you think? Come back a bit and then it can focus more easily, maybe. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, that's it. So let me just pop you back up on the tripod and then I'll show you what I do next. Right, so that is looking amazing. think. Something there. If you do happen to see something, it's good, and it's good to have some light shining in, because you can see any little bits of anything that might have landed in there. I mean, that was just a tiny, tiny little, I don't know, a bit of fluff or something. So we need to get this covered. So we've got drops underneath, obviously. So what I do is I just use my finger, balance that there, and I just run my finger underneath to catch the drips and wipe it on that puppy pedal pad. Hopefully you can still see. This one's really not dripping very much. I had the perfect amount on there. Now I'm just going to move this one over and put it on that little cup that I showed you earlier. Okay, so that's just sitting there. Now that can go over there, because I'll use you again. Now this one I can just leave there, and I can run my finger underneath and just wipe that on there. That's all I'm going to do, very gently. So there's not much there. And again around the back, wipe it off. There's really not much excess. I've got pretty good amount there. So what do you think? Pretty cool, huh? There we go, my first resin video. Woohoo! Now the barns that I'm using, epoxy glass. I'm just going to put this over here behind you again. Take my gloves off. I'll use these gloves again. These will be my resin gloves, because if I can get them off. I can't get it off, it's too sticky. Alright, let's try that. So as I was saying, that Barnes epoxy glass resin, I just went to the Barnes website in Australia. I'm assuming you guys can get it anywhere, but I just got it from the Barnes website. It's about $71, I think, for the 2 bottles, the 2 parts. All right, I'm going to cover you guys. Good night, sleep tight. I'll see you tomorrow. Morning, it's the next day. Let's have a little look, see how these babies dried overnight. So it's actually been 24 hours since I did these resins. And I am just going to peel the tape. Just had to turn that notification off. I forgot to do it. All right, let's have a little peek at these. I'm still not going to touch the top because it's only been 24 hours, as I said, but I do want to peel the tape before it goes rock hard. So I won't touch the top just in case I leave some fingerprints or anything. But look at that. Amazing. Let's move this one out of the way for a minute. He can sit over there. Oops. Get all the little cups out of the way. Let's have a look and see how we've done with this one. How's that looking, guys? It's pretty good, if I do say so myself. Yeah, I'm no expert, but hey, this is pretty happy with that. All right, now I'm just going to put this here. I'll bring you in a little bit. And let's see if we can peel some tape, hey? I'll start up here. Get my nails in there. Try not to touch the top, but just sort of balancing my hand across the top like that. And let's see if we can make a little start. I won't won't do the whole thing. Last video I did, I think I peeled tape for 5 minutes. Someone gave me a hard time. You're peeling tape for 5 minutes. Okay, that was what the video was about, peeling tape. All right, let's see if I can go fast, hey? I'm basically peeling, just catching it with my nail, and I'm peeling it down. I don't want to peel up because it may lift the resin from the side. So I'm just peeling down. Got timber on the bottom here, and the underside. Let's get rid of all that. So here, I'm not going to pull straight up. I'm just going to lift that and actually pull it down again. Even though I wanted to peel up, I just want to peel it down. See, I don't know if you can see that. There's a big blob of resin just there. Blob there. But hopefully, look at that. Oh, it just comes off so easily. We'll go around. Oh, this is working really well. This is frog tape, this green tape that I got from our hardware store. So it was kind of going that way, but I stopped it just in time because I don't want, I just think that it will lift that side if I pull up. So we won't do that, shall we? Look, I'm nearly done. It's much faster than 5 minutes. You get better as you go along, hey? Now, there's a little bit of, I might have to pick this a bit later on. There's a little bit there. Oh no, look, it's coming. I did it. Oh, this is really easy. Huh. Might as well do the whole thing, hey? You can always fast forward. But I'm almost there, and then I can show you the finished product. Turn it around again. So yeah, I didn't resin for, you know, a couple of years because I thought it's too hard. I can't do it. You know, it's going to get ruined with the dust and things. I probably should need to come up with a better drying idea rather than the net, because even though, you know, it's a net and it stops big things coming through, it doesn't stop little particles of dust. So I think for my next one, I'm going to have to put the net on because it stops anything touching it, and I get a bit of airflow. Here we go. Done! Woohoo! We're done. A little tiny bit there. Ta-da! Look at that. And look at that. Woohoo! Dunskies. And so I think I'll use the same net because I like having the airflow through it. But I'll just put like a bigger sheet or something over it. Oh, look, you can see the reflection of outside. I won't do that. So there you go. Happy with that. It's really, really beautiful. So I've got a few more to do. So that was my red one. I did this one. I've resined this one. I didn't video it, but that was the turquoise and purple one. That's it there. That one came up really well too. And then my first one that I did was this golden red one. So yeah, so far I've done 3. I think I've got another 15 to go. I'm going to pick my favourites because I don't have enough resin. I have to buy some more, but I'm going to pick my favourites. I'm going to resin them, and then I'll show you them all out on my dining room table set out. So that's what I'll do. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I think I've cured my fear of resin. Yeah, I think I'm over it. These were pretty easy to do, as long as you get the right product, hey? Yeah, for sure. Okay, Thanks again for watching. I'll see you real soon for the next one. Bye for now.